So, hey guys, welcome to the Something Big podcast. This is Raghav, and the podcast is presented by Seven Lending. And just to quickly introduce the podcast, this is a podcast where we want to meet people who've done something big in life. We want to interview them, get to know their stories, learn from them, and really take away whatever mentorship we can and improve our lives. And today I have Conor, also known as That Agent Kelly. And unless you've been living on a rock, you've seen him on Instagram, TikTok as one of the most consistent content creators out there, someone who's original, is doing all sorts of things and actually building a great business out of it. So thank you, Conor, for coming in.
Hey, I appreciate the invite, my friend. Happy to be here.
Thank you. And just wanted to, before we quickly jump into the questions and get to know more, maybe can you give us a quick brief about yourself, what you're doing?
Absolutely. So I was a plumber for 9 years and never really enjoyed doing that job, but I made good money doing it, right? Yeah. So they have a term out there, golden handcuffs, when it's just like you don't really want to be there, but the money's too good to actually leave. Yeah. That's kind of the position I was in for a while. But, I had been a plumber. I had been a real estate investor. I owned 3 properties before I ever got out of plumbing, and then eventually got my license just over 2 years ago now. Started with the social media thing. I never posted on social media before I got my license, actually. My most recent post before I got licensed was like 2 years prior.
Holy smokes.
So I didn't post on social media. It's not something that I did. I don't take selfies. I'm not a selfie guy. I didn't do any of that stuff. But basically like a month into the business, I decided, I'm going to try the social media thing. And it took off for me really fast. And basically after being, a month and a half, 2-3 months in the business, I no longer had to do outbound prospecting, calling, door knocking, none of that stuff. All my leads just came inbound. I didn't spend any money on marketing. And yeah, it went really well for me. That first year, I did 57 deals.
Wow.
Probably,
no money spent on marketing.
Nothing spent on
outside
marketing.
Of making your own videos.
That was it. Wow. Yeah. And then, maybe I want to say 40 to 45 of those came through social media. And then the rest would have just been like friends, family, referrals, and stuff like that.
50 deals, over 50 deals. That's crazy.
Yeah. It went well.
That's awesome. And then this was 2021.
That was August 2021 to August 2022, basically.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And you said you did have a background of real estate investing.
I did.
You want to tell me what got you started or what you were doing?
Yeah, so I hated my job as a plumber, right? Like, no offense to plumbing out there, but I hated it. I was never, mechanically inclined. I just, my dad was a mechanic. He'd always be working on cars and stuff in the garage. He'd want me to come out there, help him, learn something. Yeah. I just never cared. I never cared about the internals of a car. I mean, look at that sick engine.
So fascinating.
That's a V6, V8, 4-cylinder, 300 horsepower. I would drive the speed limit in a Ferrari. I don't really get the rush from any of that stuff. So it just wasn't my passion. I knew that wasn't where my potential lied. But not only that, I was like, hey, how am I going to get out of this then, right? If I know I don't want to do this, I don't want to just quit and not have an income and then go start a business, right? So I was like, I'll just buy a bunch of rental properties that pay me a cash flow until I can retire.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, if you're very lucky, you'll buy a property that cash flow is $500 a month.
And that's tough in this market.
Well, right now you're not even going to find that. But at that time, I could find a property that cash flowed $400 or $500 a month. Now the downside to that is I need 15 of those before I can retire. And you need
the down payment for every single
one. And I need to get the down payment for every single one. And then the bank is going to stop lending me money after 4 of them, right? So I had to scrap that plan and be like, okay, this isn't going to work, or it's going to take me 25 years to not do this job anymore, right? So that's when I started looking into and I actually went to do the realtor course in 2018. And then I didn't know about UBC or about GoBC. So I was reading through that dry ass 5,000 word text.
I actually almost read it. I finished it.
No way.
Yeah. So actually, I was already working with a mortgage company before I started. So I was interning with them. So I got a lot of practical knowledge. Then I signed up for some classes, but I just didn't have the time, and I was also doing school full time. So let's just go through it. So I almost read the full book, even saw the videos. I was like, okay, done.
That's crazy.
I just didn't have, that was the only thing. I skimmed it through. I could read faster.
Yeah.
So I just skimmed through most of it, I think.
See, me, I don't have the attention span. I read a paragraph. If it's really dry, I'm like, I don't even know what I just read. I already forget what I just read, right? So I failed it. I couldn't get through the course. I literally just gave up. I said, you know what? I'm just going to do plumbing again, right?
Yeah.
And then 2020 came around, and then just something was pushing me towards real estate again. I was like, I have to do this. I need to do whatever it takes to get through this course. I'm a C- student. I hate school. And luckily I went through the course. I passed the exam with an A somehow, 87% or something like that.
Nice. Yeah.
And then, hit the ground running. But basically what inspired a lot of that was the people that I was getting counsel from that were telling me how to properly buy real estate investment properties were Graham Stephan, Meet Kevin, Bigger Pockets podcast. And it just seemed like everyone who was on these platforms was a realtor. And that would be the natural progression into becoming a successful real estate investor. Because if you're a realtor, you're working in the market, you know what a deal looks like, you know how to get the deal done. You take your active income, you deploy it into the passive side, and build from there. So I was like, that's the first step into becoming a full-time investor, was to get my real estate license.
So when you got your license, did you cold turkey leave your job? Or was it something you did it right away?
I left my job right away.
Yeah.
No income, no nothing, no clients, no connections.
So what was that journey? Because I think everyone around you is like, oh, that's a good, stable, well-paying job.
Yeah.
Everyone, like, people think usually like that. So what was...
Bro, it was very stressful. So I actually got a blood test like around the first month because like I was sick. Like there was a lot of stuff wrong with me. And my testosterone came in at like 6.9, which by the way, like the normal level for a male that's like 28, 26 years old at that time is like 22, right? So I had like no testosterone, and then I had lost all this weight. I was super skinny, and
I've
then
been through that.
Same thing. And then like a year later, I went and got a blood test, and my testosterone was like super high. It was like 25. So I was like, what the hell happened? Why was it so low? And they were like, you must have been really stressed out. So I was like so stressed out that I was like literally getting sick when I first left. But it was, that's the hardest Band-Aid to rip off. And I think that's why 99% of people, they live, what's that Joe Rogan quote? Men live lives of quiet desperation or whatever. It's because nobody wants to rip off that initial Band-Aid of leaving the job that they don't like to pursue what they actually want. Because that first 3 months is terrible.
Yeah. But tell me, did you, so I did it like when I knew I had to do it, it didn't matter if I had the savings or not. It didn't matter. Like I was like, this has to work. Did you like plan your finances, had savings, everything done, or you were like, no, I'm just going to do it?
I got pretty lucky. So at that time, crypto was going nuts.
Yeah.
And I saw that. I had been through the 2017. I lost a lot of money in 2017. So I was like, it's going to happen again. So I put 10 grand line of credit into crypto, turned it into 80, pulled it out. Bought my Lincoln car cash, quit my job like a few months later. So I went into it with, I don't know, I must have had like 40, 50 grand in the bank or something like that. But
that's really nice to have.
What's even funnier is I was still, even after selling like 30 homes, because a lot of it was pre-sale, a lot of it didn't get paid out, I was still like negative 20 grand in my line of credit by like March next year.
Wow.
Like that's how expensive this business is.
It is.
It's expensive business, man.
Yeah, marketing is expensive. Like people, like even putting up signs.
I don't even pay for marketing. Yeah. You know what I mean?
No, but I'm like just putting up signs or making those open house videos, everything.
100%, everything, right? And even just like hanging your license at a brokerage, the gas, the board fee, like everything. It's just like a million paper cuts that just like bleeds you out, right?
So we'll actually come to that, but I think I want to also dive into the journey step by step. So first thing I want to know is, okay, so now you've become a realtor. You've quit your job. What was the first 3 months like? Like, what was your mindset and what did you do? First 3 months, that's all I want to focus on first.
So my mindset was basically just, I'm going to get as many people as possible to know who I am. And that's like the Grant Cardone, like buckshot approach, right? It's just like, get as many people as possible to know who you are, and then right away your odds of doing business go up.
That's a great goal, yeah.
Right? So I found that TikTok had the most reach. Gary Vee had been talking about it. I'm going to try this TikTok thing. And then my second video was a video I made talking about my investment property in Windsor, and it got like 150,000 views.
Wow.
And I was like,
right. And Windsor was hot for that properties that time. I think that was when it was growing.
Yes. Yeah. It would have been hot it would have been hot at that. It was hot everywhere at that time. Yeah. Because that would have been like August 2021.
Okay.
And then, after that video blew up, I still didn't even think it's going to bring me business. I was just like, well, that's a lot of freaking people who now know who I am or saw that video. Let's just keep doing this. Yeah. And then, that was the mindset from that point onwards. After that video took off, I was like, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to post 2 of these every single day. I'm never going to miss on it. And since that point forward, August 28th, 2021, I missed 2 days only when I was in Banff, and I was drinking, oddly enough. And that's why I don't drink anymore, by the way.
So for pretty much almost 2 years now, coming up in 2 weeks, you've done 2 videos a day on TikTok. Minimum 2 videos.
Minimum, yeah.
Wow. So in the first 3 months, did you get any result?
Yes, after about a month and a half.
Okay, what was that like? What was someone inquiring about buying or selling?
I shot a property tour video of a pre-sale center in Mission.
Yeah.
And the video got like 15,000 views.
Wow.
And then, which wasn't even like a good amount of views at that time, because TikTok used to be crazy. Now it's calmed down a little bit. And then I ended up getting a bunch of clients from it. I went to the pre-sale center and I sold 4 in like an hour from that video.
Wow.
And then that's when I was like, okay, I just made like basically like 5 months worth of plumbing in the last hour. I was like, this TikTok thing is pretty real. I should keep doing this.
But before starting this, like, did you delve into go research, okay, this is what I gotta do on TikTok, this is how you make hook videos, or this is what I do, or was it more like, let's just do enough and learn along the way?
I researched for years, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Not necessarily social media,
but
like growing a business, the economy, investing, sales. And I had just learned that social media was the best way to grow a business. I hadn't necessarily spent a lot of time learning how to use it, but I knew that it was the best way to grow a business. It's the best tool we have right now to get reach. It'll propel you years in the future, right? So that's what I knew. And then, you know, I kind of just knew some general mindset stuff about, you know, being consistent and like all that kind of stuff.
I think that's your strength. Like, because I know most people see all the fancy realtor stuff, which is just how people look at social media.
Yeah.
But like some of the small things you do show that, okay, you're a student of success. You're obsessed with consistency, or that's what you've made it about. And everything else is coming as a compound effect of that.
I would say that that's pretty accurate. And I appreciate you for noticing that, by the way. But yeah, I would agree with that, man. It's all consistency. It's just like people have this idea that they're like, oh, I want to blow up and get 30,000 followers on TikTok, right? How do I get 30,000 followers? Well, right off the bat, you're coming at it from the wrong standpoint, because it's not how do you do that? It's who's going to do that. Who's the person that gets 30,000 followers?
How do you be that person?
And how do I become that person who does that?
Yeah.
Right? Because you're not going to get to 30,000 followers without being the person that can handle 30,000 followers. It's just not the way it works.
So how did you become that person who can have this big of a social influence? What was that for you? So you started with 2 videos a day. And then after you got your first few sales with the townhome, what did you do next? What were the next few months like?
The next few months were good. I just started selling more and more homes, more pre-sale homes. I started getting listings now. People are reaching out about listings.
Nice. Were you always with the same brokers? Did you?
Yeah, I've always been a Stonehouse guy through and through.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I think how you become that person is, you know, I've had people like John Sy, who's like another top,
really good.
He's another top agent,
EXP
right?
leader.
EXP leader of like the president of Canada, EXP now. And he said that I was confident. And to me, like that was surprising to me, right? I think what really helps you become that person is just doing what you say you're going to do, right? So if I say I'm going to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. If I say I'm going to go to the gym, I go to the gym. If I say I'm going to post 2 TikToks, I post 2 TikToks. What most people do is I'm going to wake up at 4:30, they snooze, they wake up at 5, they go to the gym, they maybe go to the gym 30 minutes later, they leave early. And then like by the time it's like, you know, 8:30 in the morning, they've already missed on like 6 things, and now you're operating at a frequency that's at shame, right? You feel shame, right? Like I don't know if you've ever seen, there's like a frequency chart, and like love is like one of the highest frequencies, right? So if you've ever met somebody in real life and you instantly vibe with that person,
and you can see they're full of love, or they have something.
Exactly. And it's because a lot of the times you're operating in that same frequency, right? So like misery loves company. It's because everyone's operating out of guilt and shame and those lower frequencies, right? So first thing in the morning, when you get out of bed and you miss on 7 things that you said you were going to do, you're operating out of shame, which is one of the lowest frequencies. And then it's like, now you don't have confidence, you don't trust yourself because you didn't do what you said you were going to do. And all of that stuff just snowballs. And it's like, how do you stay consistent when you don't trust yourself? You're constantly operating out of shame. It's just like, once you get into that like shame frequency, then you start negotiating with yourself on everything. Oh, it's a bad day. I'm not in the right mindset. I'll just take the rest of the day off. And then it's like, oh, you wake up tomorrow, I had a bad sleep. And it's just like, it just snowballs. Yeah. Right.
Do you believe in having good and bad days, or having lucky days, having unlucky days? Is that a thing for you?
I think, yeah, you can have good and bad days for sure.
But
that still doesn't mean that you get to miss on the stuff that you're supposed to do. Because if you do that, the next day is even worse.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, so tell me more about, I want to learn the work ethic, or I want to learn the examples you were doing, especially in that time. So of course you got the results. But what was a day like? Because the first thing, if I tell it to, hey, there's a new realtor, hey, you got to make 2 to 3 videos. The first thing I'm too camera shy, or what do I talk about, or I don't know this, or I don't know that. What was your mindset and what was your work ethic like?
I just talked about the stuff that I always tell people, don't talk about stuff that you don't know. So if you don't know something, don't talk about it. But there's a million other videos you can shoot, right? Like you can talk about your neighborhood. You can do property tour videos. There's so many other videos that you can make. And like, done is better than perfect.
Absolutely.
Just get the video out, man. Like like I started with 2 videos a day. Now I shoot like 3 YouTube videos a week, a YouTube short, an Instagram reel. You know, I have a podcast. I've like 80 videos per week now, but it didn't start like that. It started with like 14 videos and that was it. So just start with 1, but as you get more comfortable, you add stuff to your daily schedule and you never take away, right? Like my daily schedule is constantly getting harder and more robust because every time I do something that's hard for a while, it becomes normal. And then once it becomes normal, you have to make it uncomfortable and hard again. So I add something else into it. And I'm just like, okay, let's see how long I can do this for. And then it becomes normal. And then it keeps becoming normal and I keep making it harder and it keeps becoming normal, right? So just like start with 1 video, it'll become normal and then do 2.
To a third person, it'll look impossible. But the key is you need to start 1 habit at a time.
Exactly.
Like maybe the first is I'll do 10 push-ups a day.
Exactly.
Just something as simple as that. And then you compound it.
Then it compounds 100%.
So tell me, what are like some of your habits you do on a daily basis right now at this stage?
So I wake up, I hit my 20 prison-style burpees on my balcony at 4:30 in the morning in the dark.
I've seen that.
I go to the gym, and then I do my 2 to 4 TikToks a day. I either script or shoot a YouTube video.
Every day?
Yeah, because I have to do 3 a week. So that pretty much I have to do something on my YouTube channel every day. I do 1 Instagram reel. I do as many Instagram stories as I can.
You do 1 reel a day?
Yeah. And then I do 1 YouTube short a day. Wow. And like if you go look at my TikTok, I have 1,900 posts in 2 years. So, I mean, just by the numbers, that's basically like 3 per day. So.
Wow. That's awesome. And do you spend a lot of time in getting coached yourself or reading or investing in growing yourself?
Yeah, I have a coach right now, Wes Watson. I'm paying him like a couple grand a month. And it's been like the best investment of my life.
Wow.
And I think everybody should have a coach, because here's the thing with coaching, right? Everybody has it wrong, right? Everybody thinks, oh, I'll like hire this coach who's going to give me this blueprint and tell me the secret behind how to make 500 grand a year or whatever. Dude, there is no secret. Like you can Google any blueprint on the internet. The problem isn't you don't know the blueprint. The problem is you aren't implementing the frickin' blueprint, bro. So what a good coach will do is change your perspective on your life and your habits and your mindset to help you become the person who's going to consistently implement the blueprint, right? And not every coach is going to work for every person. It's just the way that ideologies are presented to you may change your perspective that allow you to be more consistent on things. They may change. They might make you more long-term thinking and whatever it is, right?
What was one thing specifically you learned from your coach, or which was like tougher for you to get to?
I think it's just, he's just really pounded into my brain how important it is to not miss, right? So if you want to be in the top 1% of people, right? So this is what 99% of people will do, right? I'm going to be consistent on posting on whatever, right? And maybe they do it for 3 weeks, and then they have a day where they're tired, they get in a car accident. There's a million different reasons, right? At which point, depends how bad the car accident is, okay? But at which point they'll justify the reason for why they shouldn't post that day. And then they won't do it, and they'll be like, well, it's okay because X, Y, and Z. The problem is that's what everybody does. So if you want to be in the 1%, you shouldn't be doing what everybody else does. So when you have those days where it is literally okay based on societal standards to not post, that's when you post, because instantly that's going to separate you and put you in the 1% from everybody else, right?
Wow, that's awesome. So coming back on the real estate side though. So now, you're in that year, you're improving yourself, you're consistent, you're seeing results. And you're, of course, at some point you start making money. When you see the increased income, are you still investing a lot in real estate?
Actually, that's a good question. My investing philosophy has drastically changed since. Now it's more so about investing in a way that allows me to do my job the best that I possibly can, because my active income is the most important thing. It's not back when I was earning, whatever, my fixed income as a plumber, it was all about what gets me the highest ROI.
Yeah.
Now it's what gets me an ROI but doesn't take away from what I'm doing right now. Right?
Okay.
So I just don't want shit like weighing on my brain and weighing down my decision making and what I need to do on a day-to-day basis. So like, I'm not going to go invest in speculative stocks or any of that stuff. In fact, I'm not investing at all right now. I'm investing everything back into the business, because it's like, for me, you can invest, you can get a high ROI, you can do all this stuff. But if you just doubled your income, it would serve you a lot better. It's probably a lot easier to make a higher income than it is to force a return out of something.
Yeah.
Right?
So now you have that mindset. What's the vision?
So the vision for me is I want to be I will be the most well-known realtor in Canada in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And just by the result of that will translate into business. And that's been my philosophy since day one, basically. It's just the more eyeballs I have on me, the more money I'll make. So just keep getting more eyeballs on me.
That's awesome. Yeah. And just to be specific, when you say the number one realtor in Canada, do you mean the one who does the highest volume, the one with the biggest team, or the one with the biggest brokerage?
Just the most well-known.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't need to make the most money selling real estate. I think I'll probably go bald pretty fast. But the goal is to be the number one, and then from there I can pivot and maybe go into other business ventures or whatever I want to do at that point. But the thing is, with a personal brand, any money you invest in a personal brand just keeps compounding. Whereas I can invest in Facebook leads to sell real estate, but it's pretty linear. But if I invest money into a personal brand, that gets me followers, and I can now retarget those followers for the rest of my life. And then those followers share my post to those followers, to those followers, to those followers. You know what I mean? Like, it starts compounding. It's exponential as opposed to just running ads. Right?
So what do you think? Like, there's a big buzz, and we see amazing things with how AI is coming into place, how it's being used for marketing. What do you think being a realtor will be 5 or 10 years from now? Do you think that'll change?
I do, yeah. I think there'll probably be less realtors as a result of it. I don't know exactly how. A lot of people say, like, oh, look at it with like a positive mindset and it's going to do. I think it's pretty scary, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know, like, I'm not looking at it negatively, but I don't see anything good long-term coming from it, to be honest with you. I've watched too many sci-fi movies.
Too much Black Mirror?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, it has the potential to take literally everybody's job.
It's scary. Like,
right?
in general, with the U.S. and the statements about UFOs, aliens, AI, all of this happening, we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, and then it's like, at which point the only thing that would really have a value would be like finite resources, because everything else only has a value because of the labor it takes to. But if you can just like AI the labor, then everything doesn't really have a value.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
It's it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't really have a strong opinion on it, but I know people are definitely going to lose jobs. So
yeah. And just lifestyles will change. How we do everything will change. Yeah. I think how things will happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. So I think while we were coming here, you were talking about coaching other realtors on social media. Can you tell me what you're doing exactly there?
I mean, I'm basically just being like, here's the blueprint.
Yeah.
And this is the mindset you need to adapt to follow the blueprint, right? So I've got somebody in my program right now who is literally going to quit real estate like 3 weeks ago. I was like, here's the blueprint, follow it, don't miss on it for any reason. One video every day. And within 3 weeks, it's getting tens of thousands of views, inbound leads, booking appointments. And he's excited and rejuvenated now, right? So it's that simple. It's just, here it is. This is what you do. Do it every day.
Okay. So can we get specific with that? Like, I'll actually just run like, let's take my situation. If you were coaching me in a program like this, or I come to you that, hey, this is my mortgage brokers, this is the kind of business I do, where do you think I should get started, and what should be the habits, or what would be the starting point for me?
Well, for you, you would be different. So for most new agents, I recommend just doing property tours. They have the biggest cast, the largest net, the biggest reach, whatever. Yeah. For you, because you're already so knowledgeable in the space, you should definitely be putting out educational videos, informational videos, market updates, market analysis. You should be giving out information about the market that isn't necessarily a stat, but just something that's happening. So like for me, an example would be, I had only 2 showings on this house. A month ago, I would have had 30.
Mm.
That's, information about the market that
Yes.
the news isn't going to tell you, that isn't a statistic,
Mm.
that you would only know if you were in the industry. But not only should you be putting out educational, informational stuff, you also need to be giving your opinion on all that stuff, because that's how you build the personal brand, because that is your personal brand. It's just your opinion and the way you think on things, right? So I would say put out 2 videos a day, TikTok, download them, put them on Instagram, put them on YouTube Shorts, and 1 long form YouTube a week is what I would say, right? Now, again, if that's really hard, just do 1 video a day and maybe 1 YouTube a week, right? And just don't expect any results from it.
Yeah.
Just, this is part of my business. This is what I do every day.
Yeah.
When the results happen, they'll happen,
Yeah.
right? But people put out, they do it for 3 weeks, and they're like, I haven't sold a $10 million house yet, so this doesn't work, right?
The key is sticking with it long enough.
Yeah, just do stuff so long that it's unreasonable for you to not get results.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do stuff long enough that it's that's actually a great quote.
Yeah.
So who are you right now consuming where you learn from? Like who are some people you're listening to regularly or who you're following?
Wes Watson, Alex Hermosi.
Yeah.
That's probably it right now for the most part. Those 2 guys, yeah. And a guy named Dan Coe.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know him, but he's got some interesting philosophy on like personal branding and like the creator economy and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I do listen to him.
Have you heard of Seth Godin?
No.
Check him out. He's like the OG marketing guru.
Okay.
Amazing books and some amazing stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll check
it's all about differentiating. Do check him out.
Okay.
If you like that stuff.
I will. What was his name?
Seth Godin.
Seth Godin.
Godin. Godin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Seth Godin.
Seth. Seth.
Okay.
Godin.
Got you.
Yeah, check him out. Like really amazing guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. So just in general now, so we've give me a second. Let me pull up a few things here. So let's also actually talk about investing right now for people who are out there who are on the fence. What are things if you had to invest in real estate right now, where would you invest?
It really depends how much money you have. If I was well capitalized,
If it's just best ROI, regardless of the dollar
best
amount.
ROI, I would say detached house, 1970s detached house, 7,000 square foot lot that has 2 suites, and a good frontage. At least like 68-foot frontage. I think it's going to be pretty hard to lose on long term. I think detached homes are undervalued right now. Anything that's super expensive is undervalued because the large portion of the buyer pool is priced out of it. But that won't always be the case.
Okay.
Right? At least that's my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, everyone right now is kind of getting forced into condos and townhomes.
Yeah, it's so
But what's
expensive.
going to happen if money gets cheaper, right? You're probably not going to see condos move very much. You're probably not going to see townhomes move very much. You're probably going to see a lot of money flowing into the higher priced homes, right?
Well, even then though, I think eventually there'll be a breaking point when a lot of them will have to be subdivided.
That's the
Like
other
it won't
thing.
be a choice.
Yeah, that's the other
Yeah.
thing too, right? With the amount of immigration,
Yeah.
like owning land, I just think is gold
Yeah.
right now with the amount of people moving here.
Yeah. Yeah. But so tell me one thing now. You did a lot of investing outside of BC as well. What do you find difference like now knowing what you do? Would you have done it differently or invested more in BC?
100%. I would have invested in this market.
Yeah.
I only invested in other markets because
Cheaper?
it was cheaper. Instead of waiting and saving up to buy here, I was like, I just need to get something. And, $150,000 house in Windsor, Ontario is what I bought it for.
30,000 down.
30,000
That's
down.
amazing.
It
Yeah.
cash flowed. I was
Yeah.
like, how am I going to lose on this?
Yeah.
And then the Edmonton house is like 300 grand.
Yeah.
As opposed to saving up like 100 grand and only getting a condo at that time. I was like, and then it wouldn't cash flow and like,
Yeah.
negative $200-300 a month hurts
Yeah.
when you're on like a fixed income, right?
absolutely.
It hurts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to play it safe, invest somewhere where I have the cash flow.
Yeah.
And then eventually I'll take that equity and put it into this market.
Yes.
But BC is king. Like Fraser Valley, Lower Mainland, the supply,
It's tough to lose.
it's tough to lose. The supply demand metrics just favor
Yeah.
prices going up so much. And it's just like, you can just make so much money here in such a short amount of time, right?
Yeah, definitely. Now, I'll just come back a bit on the personal side. So a story I love, which I briefly know about, is why you left alcohol. Do you want to go through that again, actually?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alcohol, like, it basically, in a nutshell, it ruins your sleep. It ruins your mood. It gives you anxiety. It makes you more stressed out. A lot of stuff that people don't even realize about alcohol is like, because a lot of people have never actually quit alcohol for like longer than a month in their entire life. At least if they're like me. Like, I started drinking at like 14, and then right up until like 25, I had never taken like a full month off of having a drink. Well, after you haven't drank for 3 months, there's like this brain fog that just kind of lifts and goes away.
Oh wow.
Suddenly you have so much clarity. You have so much, like, you know exactly what to do and where to go. You have more confidence. It's weird. So I stopped drinking for 2 years. My life literally just took off like a rocket.
And do you think it had a big thing to do with alcohol?
I think that is probably the reason, because I think had I been drinking, I would have just been comfortable doing what I was doing. I would have never left my job and done all that stuff, right? So the fact I owe a lot of that to like dropping the vices, but my life just took off from that point going forward.
Yeah.
And then things got good, right? And then, you know, they say good times create, you know, weak men.
Yes.
I
You
started drinking again in like 2022 June. My business died. My views went down. Like, everything cratered, right?
But you were still consistent with your work ethic, right?
I was consistent, but
With
I
the
had
quality.
I had a different energy now, because now I was operating out of shame, right? Because you drink, you feel shitty about the fact that you drank. You wake up, you're hungover, you're guilty and shameful and blah, blah, blah. And that energy didn't come through on the camera like it was coming through before, right? So my views cratered, my business cratered, everything cratered. I said, it's 100% because of the drinking. Come November 2022, I cut it out. Business absolutely rocketed within the next 2 months again.
Wow.
So for 100%, that is my number one piece of advice. If you just cut out vices, it is insane how much easier it is to be
But
successful.
it requires self-awareness.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is insane how much easier life becomes once you cut it out. And again, the 99% to 1% thing, everybody's drinking. Right away, boom, you're in the 1% of people who aren't drinking, right? And, you know, another saying that I love is like, everybody has good habits. They're just letting the bad ones get in the way, right? Everybody goes to the gym consistently, then they get smashed. They miss 3 days in a row. The train derails, right? You're letting the bad habits control the good ones, right? So if you can get rid of as many bad habits as you can, you're only left with good ones, right?
Okay. So just so I'm trying to summarize a lot of what we've talked about, you know, like if I'm an absolute someone beginning in any stage of life, the first thing you're talking about is you want to build confidence by being consistent. But as you're building your consistency, the biggest thing is stop things which are getting in the way. This could be alcohol, smoking up every other, whatever that is for
Bad
the person.
group of friends, whatever it is. Yeah.
Anything outside of that which has been really pivot in helping you grow and at your stage right now?
Hiring a mentor,
Okay.
for sure,
Yeah.
definitely. But yeah, I mean, that's. I think it starts with the vices.
Yes.
For most people.
Okay.
A lot of people aren't going to do it, unfortunately, right? Like, even people in my program, I'm like, dude, you need to cut it out, right? No, they don't want it. That's one thing they're not going to
You tell them on in your social media program?
Yeah, I'm like, dude,
Wow.
stop that shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you, that's going to be the best thing you ever do, right? Unfortunately, not a lot of people do it, right? But that is the number one thing. You stop doing that, everything becomes insanely easier, right?
So even when it comes to association, did you consciously change it as you became a realtor? Or has that happened for you? Or were you in a pretty good association all through the time?
I don't really have an association, to be honest with you. I hang out with my fiance, and then I see my friends like maybe once a year,
Oh, wow.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then like there's like realtors and stuff I see at the office, but I don't really like hang out with anybody, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Did you go through any big adversities in the last 2 years when you were focused on being so consistent? Anything you can talk about?
No, I don't. I feel like I haven't. Like, I mean, like I've had transactions go sideways and
Of
stuff
course,
like that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
other than that, like, not really, man. It's been pretty smooth sailing since I dropped the vices.
Has it
again.
been things which have gotten you, like, it could be just sometimes, you know, people's opinions, could be sometimes, like just different things going sideways which affect you? And, like, does that happen often with you?
Not really. Like, I mean, I used to let people's opinions really get to me when I first started the social media thing. Like, somebody would leave some comment, and I'd be like, dude, I'm going to find out who this is. Like,
Yeah, we're going to their house.
yeah, I'm going to this guy's house. But, like, you just get used to it. You get used to it. You grow thicker skin, and then it just goes back to the frequency thing. It's like when you're not selling homes and you're not making money and you're sitting at home drinking a whiskey, and then somebody leaves a comment saying like, "Hey, you're a shitty realtor," you're gonna feel that.
Yeah.
Because you're operating at that frequency already. You already feel like crap.
Yeah.
But when you're selling 50 homes a year way up here and some random guy without a display picture, user 53510, says that I'm a loser, like, do you really think I care? Like, I don't even look at that comment, right?
Yeah. No,
So,
that's
but
so
that
true.
used to bother me a lot, right? It used to ruin my day. I literally get like one comment in the morning, my day's ruined. That ruined my whole day, that comment, right?
Yeah, no, that's a big lesson. So, just moving on from that, we talked about your vision being the best known, well-known realtor out there, especially in Canada. And you've already gotten traction. You're at a certain stage. You're working on your habits, trying to level up everything you do. You've also started coaching other realtors now on how to up their game in social media. Is there something else which you're looking forward or coming up with soon? Anything in the pipeline?
I'm launching a YouTube channel to help realtors.
Nice.
And yeah, I love coaching, man. I love being able to change somebody's perspective and then like watch it actually change their life. You know what I mean? Like with coaching, you can actively see that it's changing their life, right? I love that. So I just want to do more of that. My long-term vision is to just, maybe one day just do that full time.
Yeah.
Right. That's what
I'd
I'd
love
to
to do that.
I love that.
Yeah.
So
One of my big vision is like, I can't wait to be a stage where I have enough resources, I have enough influence that I can actually just do and be in something like an incubator where I just want to work with entrepreneurs, help them start businesses. So even if I don't know AI, I can invest in them who are like leading the technology, and then you know what, future is good.
Exactly.
And you're working with people, so
exactly, and you're helping people, right? So no, I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
That's awesome. And thanks again, Conor, for coming in. Really appreciate the conversation. Like, generally, the biggest things I'm taking away is, okay, I'm reflecting. How consistent am I? How many habits I'm not adopting because I'm like, you know what, maybe I don't need to, but I've gotten comfortable in my own routine. And I think that's a big thing is how you're like leveling up all the time. Because I'm like, well, I'm getting up earlier, but how can I level this up?
Exactly.
And that's such a big thing. And then consciously thinking about what is getting in my way. So thank you. Like, genuinely, every time I open Instagram, it's like an example. Man, I got to level up.
Hey,
like, I genuinely want to level up looking at you. So thank you for coming in and your example.
Hey, I appreciate you bringing me on, man. And I thank you for the sushi.
My pleasure. Okay. Thank you, guys. Talk to you next time.
Peace.